Okay, I'd like to talk about this sample student essay, an advertising essay again. Once again, here is the thesis right down here. The secondary message portrays women as crazy, obsessive, and jealous. And it's a very clear thesis, very clear secondary message. It has a little bit of a list here, but that's fine as long as they all closely relate to each other. If it said crazy, thin, and rich, that really wouldn't work because thin is very different and rich is completely different too. Those would be three different ones. So you want to have one clear focus for your essay, but this does, and it's very clear. Now let's look at the topic sentences because that's really where our organization comes in. Thesis, topic sentences, transitions, those are major players in organization. And so let's look at the topic sentence here. Now, the good news is that this paragraph has a topic sentence. It's just not the best topic sentence. It's okay, but it could be so much clearer. And so we'll take a look at that as we look at the paragraph. He says here, an abundance of commercials degrade women, going as far as portraying them as crazy and deranged. And that's fine, except that he does a lot with crazy. And he really needs to focus what type of crazy we're talking about in this paragraph, because he talks about other types later. And so that would make it even better. Okay, it's fine. Okay, this is certainly adequate, but it could be better. And that's what I want to talk about. And he uses a Toyota Camry commercial and describes this commercial where this man and his wife run into his ex-girlfriend. And frankly, this whole thing is about how ex-girlfriends are often portrayed as crazy. And frankly, that should have been in the topic sentence because it's not all women in this one that are shown as crazy. It's ex-girlfriends that are crazy. So let's take a look at that. He gives several examples from the commercial how she behaved crazily. She talks about the government being everywhere and following her. She stated she once slept in an eagle's nest. She once ate only coffee beans. She didn't let him talk once. These are all specific things from the advertisement. Now, I haven't seen this advertisement, but from these descriptions, I can see, oh yeah, she's being portrayed as nuts. Okay, and this is good because he needs to support that well. But look at his wife. His wife is portrayed as sane, okay? She asks him, he replies, that was an old college girlfriend. He says, I dodged a bullet there, and she laughs and agrees with him. So clearly his wife is not crazy, but the ex-girlfriend is. And so that's why this topic sentence is not quite as clear as it could have been. All right? Very nice. And so he ends the description of the advertisement with his own comment about the advertisement. And this is very important too. Don't just give the advertisement and figure we get your point there. Always follow it with your description, your analysis of the advertisement. What does it tell us? You can avoid anything that's overly obvious, but this is where you can add more and we can see your voice more clearly and your own argument. And it's very important that you do this. Here's his. He says his statement, referring to the man in the commercial, insinuated that he avoided a serious problem by ending the relationship with his crazy and mentally deranged ex-girlfriend. The commercial implies that women are a serious problem and become even crazier once they are an ex-girlfriend. Now, I have a little issue with this because his wife is not a serious problem, so that's not the strongest analysis there. But this is, okay? Yeah, and I like this sentence here because people may have missed it when he presented the advertisement, but here he describes it. The advertisement also shows that it is not just men who think this way about women, but other women are critical of another woman. And I think that's a very important point. He also does another crazy ex-girlfriend here, but he's going quite long at this point. I would divide this, okay? Make this a new paragraph. Don't ever have a paragraph go over a page. 3/4 of a page is a pretty good length. Okay. If you're approaching a page and you can get it all in there, fine. But if you're going over a page, please divide it up. Okay. So much easier to read, so much better. Uh, he even has a transition here, this little word also. He could just start his new paragraph right there. Okay. Here he's talking about a commercial, and he really needed to say what the product was. He didn't. Unless you're very familiar with this brand, how would you know that it was for a lock? Okay, so a Schlage lock commercial would have been better. And then he doesn't have to repeat the brand name over, okay? It wouldn't be necessary at that point. So he could just say buy a lock, and then it wouldn't be quite so much of a commercial for this particular brand name in here. But this is a fabulous commercial. I happen to have seen this. This is a very good example of it. The sales associate says it's got the highest grade of security, so you know it's really strong. And then we get a flashback where he remembers being at a dinner date and breaking up for it with his girlfriend, where she threatens him, saying, "You have not seen the last of me." She laughs and then becomes serious and then angrily leaves the restaurant. And so we get the idea that this is a woman who's on the edge or over the edge, perhaps at this point. And then he describes the rest of the commercial here, and then he gives his comment, his own commentary about the advertisement, and this is very important. This commercial advertises that men should buy a high security lock because they're not safe from their insane girlfriends. Now, frankly, he could have, taken this further and said, really, this shows that ex-girlfriends tend to be crazy. And this is not unusual for this to happen. It's so not unusual that the company uses this as a selling point. Might be something we need to protect ourselves against. Here we get a new advertisement, but this is not about a crazy ex-girlfriend. So I would make a different paragraph here and have a different focus, different topic sentence. This one has to do with a woman going through menopause. So yeah, that's a little bit can be a little bit offensive, but he didn't write the commercial, they did, so he can certainly comment on it. And maybe his topic sentence even could have something to do with how women are portrayed to be crazy because of hormonal issues, because menopause was certainly qualify for that. He could put in something else there if he wanted to with that, but it would be another way that advertisers show women as crazy. Um, and the smoothie. Here we have I just love this quote because it's just completely fits his point. The commercial ends with the mascot saying the smoothie keeps her from going street rat crazy. Okay, very helpful. All right. The next paragraph, in a few commercials, women are portrayed as obsessive. This is fine. We get some different obsessions here. We get a woman obsessed with shopping. And here he describes, that the advertisers went so far as to have two children having to drag their mother out of the store because she was obsessed with shopping. So that's his analysis of this advertisement. Then we have a woman obsessed with herself. Um, okay, she's held captive, and the first thing she wants to do is take pictures of herself. I can see that. Okay, here she's obsessed with men. That's interesting. The only thing is that this is again about ex-girlfriends, so maybe this should go with the other ex-girlfriend one. He did so many of those. Maybe put it up here with that lock one. That might have been a better choice. So it's important to think about your organization. And then we have here a final paragraph, I suppose, about women being portrayed as overly jealous. And so we have the State Farm commercial. You may have seen this before. It's on a lot, or it has been on a lot, where a man is talking to his insurance agent at 3 in the morning, and his wife comes down and immediately assumes that he's having an affair, and it's very comical, but she is portrayed as just really jealous. And even when she hears a man's voice over the phone, she still thinks it's another woman. So just crazy. Here we have an Orbit commercial, same thing. She's jealous again, and very nice. And then we have two women being jealous of each other over losing weight, and I thought that was an interesting thing to put in there. That he put that in there as well. I thought that was a good twist. And then he concludes it. I like this statement here. It's not helping the way that women are viewed in society. This is a nice way to state that. It doesn't say anything about this causes women to be viewed badly in society. It just says it's not helping. But we get the same really effect from it, and it's a very smart way to do that. So this was overall a very good essay. It had some issues, yes, but it was overall a very good essay.